over here. This is a tricky little. Okay, so here's the answer key for the mid-unit review. I will be going through this in class, but I do think it's important that if you're struggling with this, you see it at night also. So the first thing it says in the first box, it says to draw the Lewis structures for neutral atoms, and in the second box, draw the Lewis structure for the ion that they would form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go neutral atom. So when I draw that structure, it's going to look something like this. Now, because of where it is, calcium is going to lose 2 electrons. It's going to lose that electron and that electron. So that's going to leave me with calcium, and I'm going to put it in brackets. Lost 2 electrons, so it's going to be a +2. Okay? So now, iodine, I'm going to draw it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks as though we're going to say that it's going to gain an electron, so that would look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would mean that it has gained 1 electron, so it's a little bit more negative. Okay, so when I go back to draw its structure, I'm going to have argon with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's not going to gain or lose electrons, so we're going to draw it just as it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far, so good with that. Now, then it says to draw Lewis dot structures for the given molecules and show the original Lewis dot structure for each atom, then draw the Lewis dot structure for they have bonded, and then identify the type of bond. So I know that I'm going to look at KF, so I'm going to go over is KF, metal, and fluorine is a nonmetal, so that is going to tell me that I have an ionic bond. Oops, if I can spell. Okay, so the original Lewis structure for K, because of 1 valence electron, is going to look like that. And for fluorine, the original Lewis structure is going to look like that, because it has 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to show that there's an electron being transferred. So we have that right there. So now I'm going to redraw my structure. I'm going to start with fluorine first. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, or 8 rather. So when I draw this, it gained 1 electron, so this is a -1. And when I draw my potassium, it lost an electron, so that's going to be a +1. All right, so now the next one is F2, and since we just decided that F is a nonmetal, and I have a second F, which is also a nonmetal, that means this is going to be covalent. So I have an F, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have another F, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and because it's covalent, they're going to share, so we're going to draw like bubbles or circles around, so it's going to look something like that. Okay, so what that really should probably look like would be something more like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm just going to draw them hooked together like that. You could also do this. That's okay as well. Okay. Now, the next one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my lithium, which is Li, with its 1 valence electron. It tells me I have 2 of them. And it tells me that I have sulfur, which has got 6 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a metal and a nonmetal, so that means it's going to be ionic. So when I draw these, they're going to transfer electrons, so it's going to look something like this. Make sure I'm drawing arrows so that the person who's grading your quiz knows exactly what he's looking at. And then I'm going to draw it so that I have lithium, which appears to have lost an electron, so it's going to be a +1. And I'm going to have a sulfur, so that has gained 2 electrons. So that is going to be -2. Then I have another lithium, which has lost an electron, so that's going to be +1. Okay, and then the last one, H2, might be a little bit more tricky. So it has, so nonmetal, one of them, another one. It's two nonmetals, which makes it covalent. And I'm going to draw a little bubble around there to show that they're bonded together. So over here, I'm going to have hydrogen, hydrogen, and I'm going to show my circle saying that they're bonded together. I could also draw them like that. That would be okay as well. My periodic table, I'm going to find calcium. I'm going to know that calcium, because of one valence electron, two valence electrons, we skip these, three valence electrons, four valence electrons, five valence electrons, six valence electrons, seven valence electrons, and eight valence electrons. So we know that calcium is going to have two. Periodic table, I can see that it would have to do a lot to gain to get to 8, or a little bit to lose. So we're going to assume is over here. It's in the column with 7 valence electrons. Because it's way over here, it's a lot easier for it to gain 1 than it is for it to lose 8. And now argon is, let's see, right here. It already has 8 valence electrons, and I'm going to, let's see, I don't know if I can clean this off, so let's see, we can get, clean all that off. Clean. Okay, all right. That's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to take a look at that. I'm going to say, well, K is way over here. F is way up there. I know that K has 1 valence electron, and I know that F has 7 valence electrons. I know that potassium, lithium, and sulfur. So I'm going to take a look and see that I have lithium, and I have sulfur. And lithium has 1 valence electron again, and sulfur has 6 valence electrons. Because H2 is up here, but it is a nonmetal. Going phosphorus, that means that it, let's see, for this part here, it says draw Lewis dot structures to represent the given molecules. So it's some more of the same, more practicing, but it's a little bit more complicated, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look and go and say that other thing, it was calcium and chlorine. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to draw my original structures. So calcium, 1, 2, and I've got 2 chlorines, Cl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and another one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and because it's a metal and a nonmetal, this makes it ionic. So in this case, the calcium is going to be transferring an electron here and here. So over on the product, over here on the next side, I'm going to go ahead and draw my calcium, which I'd like to put in the middle. So I'm going to have Ca. It's going to have a bracket around it. It's lost 2 electrons, so it's going to be +2. I'm going to have 1 chlorine, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and gained an electron, and another chlorine, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and gained an electron. Both of them have gained the same number of electrons, which is 1, so it's going to be a -1 and a -1. Nice. The next one is and hydrogen. So when I go to draw this structure originally, I'm going to draw my phosphorus, which would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 valence electrons, and I'm going to draw my hydrogen with 1, another hydrogen with 1, and another hydrogen with 1. And now these are all nonmetals, which means this is covalent. So that tells me that these atoms are going to be bonded together by sharing electrons. So I'm going to draw a circle here, and a circle here. And so when I clean that structure up a little bit, I'm going to have something that looks like this. And I'm going to have something that looks like this. And if I wanted to, I could rewrite it to look something like this. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want it to be blue. So it's going to be P, H, 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 something like that. All right, the last one is N2. Those both have 5 valence electrons, so I'm going to draw one N here and another N here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're both nonmetals, so that's going to be covalent. And they're going to share electrons. Sharing electrons. Sharing electrons. So when I clean this guy up, it's going to look something like this. Which might get cleaned up a little bit more to look something like this. But that's kind of how that looks. All right, so that was your review worksheet, and I hope that that was helpful. And we'll go through this in class tomorrow, and I hope that you studied and helps you with your quiz. Good luck tomorrow. I have calcium. So calcium and chlorine. So I'm going to go. I remember that calcium has 2 valence electrons in that column, 7 valence electrons in that column. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at phosphorus, which is this guy right here, and hydrogen, which is this guy right here. Phosphorus falls into the 5 valence electron category, and hydrogen is in the 1 valence electron category. When I go ahead, I'm going to find that I have N and I have N,